Hello, everyone. Welcome. We'll give folks maybe 2 minutes to stroll in. As folks are getting in here digitally, virtually, go ahead, throw in the comments. It's 1 o'clock for me here in New York. Curious where people are, if you're still snowed in, or if you're one of the lucky people maybe out west getting some sun, or if we have any folks abroad, at least as far as abroad for me, maybe folks in the UK or maybe folks up in Canada. Curious, so throw those in the comments. And then the other thing, if you have something about Fyxer that you love, throw that in the comments. Again, we'll give folks maybe till like 2 minutes after before we get started. Awesome, Ontario's in the house. Charleston, unseasonably cold down there, I bet. Jacksonville, Auburn, California, nice. Canada. Yeah, New York, we are still sitting in about a foot of snow, and out in the burbs, it is tough. You can't even really walk. I'm sure most of the Canadians don't feel bad for me, though. Montgomery, Alabama, great. Bay Area, awesome. We have Fyxer's CRO, Chief Revenue Officer, is from Bay Area. Yeah, Cynthia in Eastern PA, lots of snow, not surprising. More Canada, love it. Canada in the house today. All right, folks, as more folks are joining, we're just throwing in the chat where you're dialing in from. Again, we're going to be talking about the admin burden index today. I'm Matt from Fyxer. I'll get into that in about 1 or 2 more minutes. Oh, Kate, please, San Diego, the dream weather city. Send us as much sun as you can. Welcome, Azim from Toronto. Central OHIO. Awesome. All right, everybody. I do want to maximize our time here. Thanks all for indulging me in the chat. It's always cool to just hear and see where people are calling in from. Love it. Love people calling in from Colorado, Indiana, everywhere. And my name again is Matt. I'm one of our senior customer success managers here at Fyxer. I just got to say off the bat, I love working with EXP. I've been with Fyxer for about 5 months, and just getting to work closely with agents, closely with the corporate office, but really getting into the understanding of your lives and how you operate and what brings you value and what brings you professional satisfaction has been really a fun journey over the last few months. So today, over the next 20-ish minutes, with some time at the end for Q&A, we'll be talking about the admin burden index. So appreciate y'all joining. Again, I think it's probably morning for a lot of you, but afternoon for some. So I think the question Fyxer, right? And a lot of you are probably familiar with Fyxer, and we'll talk a little bit about Fyxer today, but we really want to focus on this idea of admin burden, right? So how many of you feel like recently in the last year, 2 years, 3 years, that you're working harder than ever, but you have less time for things that actually grow your business, right? So I want you to keep that in the back of your mind as we go through today's presentation. We're calling this the parasite of performance, right? Admin's the parasite, and it's not just a catchy title. Frankly, it's the uncomfortable truth around what's happening for top performing, not just real estate agents, but any type of seller, any type of business owner across the country. But we're going to focus on real estate agents today, obviously. And the subtitle here says it all, right? How admin tasks are silently killing your productivity. And we want to be able to identify and help guide based on what top agents are doing about it, right? So let me be clear. It's not about working harder. Right? It's about working more effectively, working smarter. We know how hard real estate agents work. And this is about recognizing that there's something invisible, frankly, that's stealing from you every day. It's stealing time and therefore stealing money. And I'm going to help show you today in these next 20 or so minutes what that is and how much it's costing you, frankly, and most importantly, what you can do about it. So hopefully by the end of the session, you'll see your inbox a little differently, whether you're a Fyxer user or not. And you're going to see hopefully start to visualize and think about your daily routine a little differently, right? And hopefully can get a plan in place to get hours back in your day. So as we get into this, I want to talk about the data a little bit and set the stage. This isn't something anecdotal. The admin burden index that we're going to talk about today is based off of research, right? And so Fyxer, our company, has just released something we call it the admin burden index, or ABI for short. And it's the first research study that actually quantifies the cost of administrative work. We surveyed thousands of professionals to understand exactly how much time is being lost to avoidable admin tasks. So let me hit you with some numbers here. And hopefully this will make you stand up or sit up in your chair a little bit. $954 billion, and that's with a B. And that is how much is lost annually, and this study was done across the UK and the US, to avoidable administrative tasks. So nearly $1 trillion. That's more than Elon Musk is worth, 954 billion, if you were wondering. 67 minutes per day, right? So over an hour every single day will be spent on tasks that, frankly, that AI could handle automatically. So think about what you could do with that extra hour: an extra showing, an extra client call, an extra follow-up with a lead, right? That's 5+ hours every work week that you get back. That's over 260 hours every year. So that is 6 40-hour work weeks, a month and a half worth of work that you can get back by removing these admin tasks. And maybe it's not all at once, but by programmatizing the way you're going to remove them, it offers you the ability to get back this time. And it's that last one that really hits hard, right? 48% of knowledge workers, nearly half, have thought about quitting their jobs, thought about leaving their current company. And maybe that's a little different for a real estate agent, but they've thought about it because strictly of admin overwhelm, 48%. And it's not because they don't like the work, it's because they are literally underwater in administrative burden and it's crushing them. Every minute of admin work is less time driving revenue, right? I know that speaks to real estate agents. I know that speaks to folks that run your business, run your life like it's your business, because it is. Right? When you're buried in your inbox, when you're updating spreadsheets, when you're typing the same email for the 3rd, 4th, 10th time that day, frankly, competitors, and hopefully not with EXP because of how technologically innovative EXP has become, but there are competitors out there closing deals and building relationships faster. The top EXP agents are using Fyxer because they know it's putting them ahead of the curve when it comes to response time and removing this admin work. And that's kind of what's wacky about it. Is I don't want to say it's counterintuitive, but it gets harder the better you are at your job, right? So the admin burden doesn't go away. It actually can get more difficult. Oops, I lost my, there we go. And so this slide will show you something that looks kind of backwards, like I was saying, counterintuitive, but the more you earn, the more time you lose, right? And this is actual data that shows the minutes spent on admin work by income level, right? And you can see the progression: low earners, middle earners, high earners, and the bar keeps getting taller. And here's the painful truth: high earners spend 76 minutes per day on admin, so 31% more than lower earners. So success is actually punishing you, right? All my capper agents, my icons out there that are crushing it, you're only putting yourself in more of an admin hole. And think about your journey, right? Think about when you only had 5 or 10 or 20 clients, right? It might have been more manageable, but the more deals you close, the more work you get, the more admin, the more coordination work. And it means more follow-ups, more email threads to manage. And ultimately it can create more bottlenecks. With EXP, right? And we know EXP, I like to believe, on a fairly intimate level. We know Glenn, we know, I just met with Seth, the CIO, this week. We have a really nice relationship. They're an investor, and we know how hard EXP agents work to get to where they are. And we know the reputation you build, you hone your skills, and ultimately these achievements could be making your lives harder and trapping you in what we would call low value admin tasks. And that irony is tough. It is brutal, right? You've worked hard, and now these low admin tasks can hold you hostage. And it's what we call the admin paradox. And it's exactly why we have Fyxer. It's exactly why we're talking about this today, right? And so we can actually get specific about where all that time goes. We can go deeper. And so the admin burden, it doesn't just tell us that there's a problem. It shows us exactly what this problem is hiding, right? So 4.3 hours per day. Just look at that number. That's a lot of hours. More than 4.3 hours a day writing and responding to emails, right? And I can imagine for yourselves, it might not only be emails. That includes text. That includes WhatsApp. That includes, maybe faxes, all different ways that you're communicating. So that's not just reading, that's writing and responding, right? So more than half of a standard work day is spent to accomplish something that we should be just doing much more quickly, right? It should not be taking us half of the work day to do that. So 4 hours that you could be nurturing client relationships, 4 hours to close more deals, do more showings, and ultimately grow your business. But instead, you're in your inbox and you're drafting and redrafting and even trying to remember who needs a follow-up or the most important follow-up. It's tough, right? And getting your responses interrupted before you can even finish them. And it's not just taking your time, it takes your focus. I can speak to that myself using Fyxer, how much focus it brings back to my day. But again, for yourselves that are probably way more inundated with different types of emails, just being able to context switch a little less. Stephen mentioned in the comments, still having to deal with 250 or 500 emails a day, even with Fyxer and a VA. There's got to be a better way. We hear you, right? Like, I think, again, especially for yourselves, you are in a world where your business, your livelihood is quite literally dependent on response time, right? And so we hear that pain, and that's really what we're working on, is even when you have an assistant or a virtual assistant, how can we get even better and filter out so that you have that time back? And frankly, again, it's not just the time, it's what that time is costing you, right? So your inbox is slowing in deals, right? In real estate, we know that speed wins. So agents that respond first get the client. The one who follows up fastest is going to close the deal. It's not a theory, it's how your business works. You probably know way better than I do. You know it in, you've known it for as long as you've been in this business, frankly, right? But that's the problem. Your inbox, as Stephen is quite literally mentioning in the comments section here, your inbox is not meant to keep up with your pace, right? You move way faster than you can keep up with. So look at these numbers. 40% of inbound activities happen outside of working hours, right? Tough to tell a real estate agent what their working hours even are. So you're getting emails at 9 p.m. on weekends, during dinner with your families. And if you're not monitoring it constantly, you feel like you're falling behind, right? And get this, 50% is noise, honestly. Marketing emails, notifications, things that don't move the needle, right? Things that ideally you would filter out. So you're spending a lot of mental energy and precious time sorting through spam just to find messages that matter. Right, so picture this, right? I'm sure you can all kind of envision yourselves. You're still working, it's 7:30 at night and a hot lead comes in, but you're kind of working while you're making dinner for the family. By the time you get to this email and have the chance to read it, you've got 10 more emails that have come in now. You barely started dinner. Everybody is running around the house, and 2 other agents have already gotten back and said, hey, let me get in on that lead, right? And maybe that's a little far-fetched or kind of sounds a little fairy tale-ish, but ultimately it's that simple nature of losing a lead while you're working on something else or couldn't get to the response, that's going to harm that business, right? So we have this massive problem, but the good news is that there is a solution, and it's not just working more, it's how we can work smarter. And so the shift is using technology, but not having to learn a new technology. So we're not talking about some robots or some more futuristic AI technology that's going to be a new thing for you to learn. And this isn't something that we're talking about in the future. The tools that can help you are here today. And there are professionals, many on this call, who've adopted them, and they're already seeing dramatic improvements. Separately, outside of the admin burden index, we surveyed Fyxer users at EXP about 2 months ago, and with some understandably feedback that we received, a lot of the feedback was very positive. And when we know that we're being effective in helping agents close deals faster and respond to clients faster in an overwhelming majority, we know that this is working. And again, it's not something that we're looking towards the future, it's happening now. So this is the data from the survey, the admin burden index of over 5,000 knowledge workers. Almost 3/4 of them say that AI has improved how they work, not might help or could be useful, actively improved it. 41% are already using AI in some capacity to reduce admin tasks. I'm sure many of you on this call, whether you're a Fyxer user or not, are taking advantage of AI in some capacity to relieve admin burden already. If you're not, that's okay, right? That's what this is about, is kind of bringing this to people in a way that fits them and fits their existing workflow with some tweaks, right? The catch that we found is that 2/3, and this kind of goes to that last point I was making, feel that what they have currently isn't enough, right? They actually feel that they've experimented with maybe ChatGPT or an agentic solution, and it's not delivering the value. And I think, again, to go back to Stephen's point, it's not reducing things the way they would like it to reduce things, right? And so how can we continue to push this sort of invisible AI that learns about you, that gets better over time, but doesn't disrupt the way you operate, right? Most tools, I would say, are not designed specifically to eliminate the admin friction that's paralyzing your performance. I would say a lot of these more, generic AI assistants are exactly that, right? They are kind of this one size fits all. Some are maybe more industry specific or functionally specific than others, but many are, hey, here's this incredible tool, learn all the great ways you can be more productive. That's not as focused. That's not the precision that we are trying to impose on people in terms of getting time back and actually solving the admin burden. So with a few minutes left here, that brings me more to Fyxer, right? So again, I know that a lot of folks are users already. Maybe others have heard of Fyxer but aren't sure. Fyxer is an email AI assistant. It is, excuse me, it is free if you are a Capper agent. Otherwise, we do offer 5% off for all EXP agents who have not capped. So we'll get you the links and sign up information here as well. But I just want to call out how Fyxer can give you more time back to selling and less time sorting your email. It's really not just like a slogan, it's what we are actually trying to do. So it's an AI assistant that integrates directly into your email, whether it's Gmail or Outlook. And it works to eliminate this friction between you and, frankly, in your next deal. So it's not replacing you, it's about removing the obstacles that are keeping you from doing your best work, right? So first thing Fyxer does is it organizes your inbox by priority, categorizes every single email that comes in, right? I know some people get worried that they've lost an email. Fyxer never deletes an email, it categorizes them. So you do have to kind of understand how those work and where the email might live. but that's something you can always adjust. That's a quick plug for our EXP office hours that we offer every Tuesday. I can share a link, make sure a link gets out to all the participants here as well so they can sign up for EXP specific office hours. We want to make sure people know how to set their Fyxer up. So it's going to categorize your email. It's going to have your 2 respond emails that need a response, and we'll talk about those drafts. It will show you your high value items, your we call FYI, your really important emails, your meeting updates, everything categorized so you don't miss a critical communication from somebody. Then those 2 respond emails, as you can see in the second image, they write a response. They don't send the response, but they do write a response in your voice, in your tone. To me, this is one of the huge time savers of Fyxer, because as a customer-facing person coming into my workday and knowing that all of my overnight emails have drafts and I have this head start in my voice, it is, again, that time that we looked at before that's spent analyzing and thinking about the response is completely removed. And I just have to go in there and make sure it makes sense, maybe tweak 1 or 2 things, and then I can send it. I love what Sheila just called out, she said, Fyxer is only as good as you train it. You cannot just plug and play. I think this is a great call out. It can work from the start. It will work. It will create drafts. But to Sheila's point, if you make little adjustments, if you use it more, if you lean into it more, it learns about you. It learns about your tone. There is also a place within Fyxer, and I'm not going to go into a full Fyxer tutorial, but there is a place where you can set a certain tone, your personal draft prompt, where you can write how you want Fyxer to sound more like you and your communication style. So that's just a little plug-in for the Fyxer draft prompt and how you can make it sound like you. But I love that call out, Sheila, that it does take some quote unquote training, right, to get it to keep getting better and better. All right, cool. So talk about the drafting the replies. Again, if you need to make that quick review, that's it, right? What used to take maybe 10 or 15 minutes now is like a 30-second per email task. And then the last feature note on the bottom there, image that you see, which when I met so many of you in Miami in the fall, so many people were taken aback by the meeting note taker. They either love it or they didn't know it even existed. And so Fyxer has a note taker, a recorder. So whether you have like live client calls or in-person showings or a virtual meeting like this, you can capture the key points and next steps automatically. Again, you can do a audio transcription from an in-person meeting, right? You could pull up Fyxer dashboard on your phone and record it. So there's a lot of great ways to take advantage of getting actionable notes. So when you're doing 8, 10, whatever, however X many meetings and showings you might be doing a day, you don't have to worry about forgetting who you talked to and what they said. All of that will live in Fyxer if you record it through Fyxer. So again, we really want to give you back so much of that time you spent analyzing and searching through emails and searching through written notes and stuff like that. Let Fyxer, let AI do that for you, right? Let you have that time back, right? And so the results, again, from Fyxer users, from EXP agents, from knowledge workers we surveyed, Fyxer users are reporting 78% more focus on high value work. And again, when I think about the EXP survey that we're going to be sending out, we're just finishing the final touches on it. We did the survey, the results. So much of it was about agents closing more deals, reaching leads faster, getting time back in that day. So it was also reflected in that survey, which was great to see. I saw Peter asked, yes, you can connect Fyxer to multiple accounts. You can sign up for Fyxer. So that brings me to my next slide. So again, cappers get it free. You can sign up with either your EXP email address or your normal business address, right? Essentially, as long as you go to fyxer.com/EXP, and Teen's going to share that link out, you can sign up and you click the button whether you're a capper or not. You do have to go check out So it asks for billing information, but if you're a capper, you will see 100% discount. If you are not a capper, you'll still see 5% discount. And again, you can sign up with your business email that's not your eXp Realty email. We know a lot of you mostly use your separate email, your alternative, but you can add multiple. And no, Sheila, we're going to make this systematic so that once you are a user, you don't have to do it every year. We, in January, recently signed a new 2-year partnership with eXp, which is super exciting. So my goal this year is to get this in his hands as many as agents as possible. And if you have capped at any point, you're still receiving it. You don't have to redo it or anything. Yeah, so Audrey, you would still be considered a capper essentially because you have capped. So you'll be able to sign up as a capper. Great. Okay, I just want to make sure I get to my last slide and then I can answer some remaining questions. Okay, and again, we're going to share these links out. The first is we've set up what we're calling the Admin Burden Index Calculator, a way for you to actually calculate if this inbox overload is costing you, what's costing you, excuse me. And then you can set your target, right? We really want to programatize this to help you really understand what time you're getting back. And then lastly, activating Fyxer, right? So, whoops, we lost the last EXP, but the link that Teen just shared, it's fyxer.com/EXP. Let me make that quick update so we don't accidentally look at the wrong one. Oops, that seems to be set. All right, we'll make sure we update that before we share that out with you all. Right. Great. And so just to kind of recap, and then I've got we've got a few minutes left for some questions, but just to kind of recap, admin work, as you all know, is not just a minor inconvenience. It is literally stealing from you. The data has shown that, right? You don't have to make this the norm, right? The technology exists for you to get back hours every week. If you are an eXp capper, and I see some questions, if you capped within the last few months, like last year, right? I know it's kind of on a rolling basis based on your start date. So Cynthia, to your question, I think I did, yeah. We can still get you signed up free of charge, right? Ultimately, we want to get this in as many hands as possible. So if you're someone that has capped, you can sign up as a capper at 100% discount. So it's fyxer.com/EXP. And then we'll also make sure we share out the link for the eXp specific office hours that you run weekly on Tuesdays. That's a great place where if you sign up and you want to learn more, or you're just not sure about something, or you have some questions, either myself or someone on our team is there, and we'll get that registration link out so everyone can sign up. Apologize, I didn't have that one prepared, but Teen is sharing out the other important links for you all. The proof of cap, Peter, I believe, is done automatically via email. So essentially, when you go to fyxer.com/EXP, you will be routed. Jacob said, been using Fyxer a lot since October. Love it. Any possible way to have an automated message when the email goes in the category FYI, because most of the time we need to reply? Good question, Jacob. There is no current way to have it go a reply when it goes to FYI. What triggers it is it going to respond. But if you get an email to FYI and you do notice that it should have a response, a little trick is you can forward that email, that FYI email, Jacob, to ai@fyxer.com and just write draft, and it will write you a draft. So if Fyxer misses one or you think it should have a draft, you forward it to ai@fyxer.com, write the word draft in the body, and it will send you back a draft for you to send. Blossom asked about the cost. Fyxer is, for our pro package, it's $50 a month. But when you do it on an annual basis, which is what we recommend, it's $450, which is about $37.50 a month, I believe. Plus, if you are real estate, if you are EXP, you get 5% off of that. So that will all be, if you go to fyxer.com/EXP. If you're following the non-capper, the agent's link that's not for capper specifically, it will route you with that 5% off code. I hear y'all. The struggle is real. I know we are at time. I can hang on for a minute and finalize some questions, but I just want to wrap up with Sheila's point and Stephen's point. The struggle is real. We hear you, and we know for harder workers and high earners, it doesn't necessarily get easier. So we hope that this is helpful, that whether it's Fyxer or it's another programmatic way that you're creating a system to get time back, that hopefully some of this admin burden is getting relieved of you, so that we can get that time back in dinner, but still feel like you're getting to all those leads. So I'll wrap up there. I am going to hang on. I just want to answer this one last question. Peter, that's USD, not CID. So I know we've got a lot of Canadians. When I sign up, do I use my EXP? So Kate, you do not necessarily have to use your EXP Realty email to sign up. We route people to fyxer.com/EXP, and that's how it knows you are EXP. Because you'll be using that discount code. So you don't have to use your EXP Realty email address. But as I think I mentioned earlier, you can connect a second email address if you choose. Oh, thank you, Stephen. We're trying. We really are. And we appreciate all the evangelism from EXP and from, frankly, just a lot of our early adopters in the last 12 months. It's been a fun ride with Fyxer, and we're hoping for the best. Jody, or if anyone else is running into issues, reach out to support@fyxer.com, and they will be able to make sure you get the proper discount code. Support@fyxer.com if you're running into issues. All right, folks, I do have to call it. Again, we are going to make sure that we follow up with the recording, which will also go into the EXP Solutions YouTube channel. And we will also do our best to send out, we're going to make sure you get this recording. We're going to try to get the deck out to everybody, and hopefully the full admin burden index report as well, if people are interested in learning more. So thank you all so much. I appreciate the time. Hope for those that are in the sun, you enjoy it. Those that are maybe snowed in more like me, hopefully we're out of it soon, but appreciate the time, everybody.